you didn't hear the intro at the beginning, I'm a journalist. I've been with CNN as a senior producer now. I've been there for almost 23 years. And in my time there, I produced dozens of stories. So this was right up my alley. Technically, we've been producing stories of my chapter since I was initiated in 2001. We just didn't call it Kappa League TV. But it's kind of similar. We actually had a play on words and call it NoobTube. But I produce stories that are uplifting and often feature African-American. So that's kind of what I do at CNN anyway. So tailoring it to Kappa League TV was an easy pivot. And when we started talking about doing it in the style of a news broadcast, then that was like low-hanging fruit for me. So I'm gonna just go into this presentation and I will ask that, I'll move quickly and I'll ask that you hold the questions to the end so that we can have time to go through it all. So let's see if I can find it. Here it is. I don't know if I'm sharing my audio at this point. I might need Brother Jackson to help me on that. But I'm gonna go ahead and start the slide from the beginning.
Brother Peoples, when you go to screen share, go to the bottom of the screen and make sure that it says sharing sound.
Okay, so let me
you can reopen your screen share.
Hold on one second, I'm sorry. Hold on. No, I should have did this first. I think I'm sharing audio. We'll find out in a second, right? Okay. Let's see if you brothers can see this. Hold on. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and I'll get to that point in a second. So basically, there's several roles on Kappa League TV that we've identified, and I'm gonna go through the roles. So basically, we have a reporter, which is a young man who will be producing the content. He'll be the face of the story. A producer who's basically like a manager, doing all the behind the scenes work, putting it together, contacting whoever needs to be contacted. And have a cameraman, which is basically the person that's gonna be holding the camera and recording and doing the B-roll that needs to be done.
Excuse me, brother people. Are you sharing your screen right now?
I'm trying to, am I not?
We got your Zoom screen.
Oh, my bad, wrong screen.
You shared the wrong screen, sir.
You had it up earlier.
You got.
There we go.
How about now?
There you go.
There you go.
So these are the different, basically jobs, as we would say. And then the last one will be the editor, and that will be whoever puts it together. So you don't have to break the bank to do Kappa League TV. I know chapters have limited funds, but there are certain things you do need equipment-wise. A cell phone would be wise to have, like some of these phones are shooting 4K video. If you're gonna use a cell phone, you definitely wanna always shoot in horizontal. Don't ever shoot vertical, because when you put your video up on YouTube or on your big screen TV, you'll see that if you shoot it this way, portrait mode, you'll have black on the sides like this diagram shows on the top. Whereas if you shoot it on the vertical, horizontal, it'll take up the full screen. So just think of this as your big screen TV. You want all the video to show on the whole screen, not just a sliver in the middle. So that's one tip. If you're gonna use a DSLR camera, that's another way. It looks like this in my hand, or the picture I'm showing you. Basically, those can be expensive. So if you have a young man that already has one, or a brother, most of them shoot HD video, so you're good to go with that. You definitely need a microphone. I've seen too many videos where brothers way across, young man is interviewing somebody way across the room or across the outside, and you can't hear anything. So this is a lapel microphone, lavalier, kind of like the one I'm holding in my hand. Runs about 10, 12 bucks. I got this one for great quality audio. Highly recommend it. So when you're talking to a guest, it pins right on their lapel, their shirt, or the tie. Or you can get a handheld mic, sort of what this image you have on the screen. This is what we have for our chapter. It's a microphone. This is called a mic flag. And this is just a windscreen. So it just basically helps identify us as a serious broadcast news for Kappa League TV. If you're using a cell phone, I recommend you have a selfie stick. Don't try to freewheel it and do this because you'll have a lot of movement in your camera. So a selfie stick will at least let you have somewhat of a static shot. If you hold it close to your body and hold the stick out, you should be able to get a good shot without a lot of movement. If you're using a DSLR camera, you want to have a tripod. Doesn't have to be one that's super expensive, just something that holds the camera in place so it's not moving around. Shaky video is a sign of amateurism, so you want to have a good steady shot. Then you need edit software. Some of the kids out there and some of the brothers that are on this call probably use some of these. This is a simple one, which is iMovie. If you don't have anything more, this will do the trick in terms of laying down different clips. You don't have a lot of room to adjust audio and music, things like that. But if you just have simple clips you want to lay down, if you're doing a still stream, which is still pictures, you can just lay these down and put music to it and you're good to go. If you want to be more complex, you'll get Final Cut Pro, which is an industry standard tool. As you can see, it lets you put extra layers of video or audio layers. So you can add music, you can add people talking and adjust the levels accordingly. The same thing as Premiere Pro. It's just like Final Cut, but it's a newer version. Also lets you do the same thing Final Cut does. So what we ask for is the young men to wear the attire of a white Oxford shirt, Kappa League tie. And the reason why is we want to have some kind of uniformity. So when all the young men are doing their reports, it kind of looks synonymous from chapter to chapter. This isn't always the case because we know sometimes, you know, based on where you go, it's going to change. But this is the general attire we would like for the young men to wear. So this here is an example. Young man has a Kappa League jacket, bow tie, white shirt, and holding the microphone, which is plugged up. The audio is captured into the camera. So this is one that we shot for a Thanksgiving initiative for our chapter, where we got the footage from Brother Bell, who's on the call. He got the footage for us on his cell phone, and we made use of that footage and made a story around it. So going back to what we were talking about, compelling TV, compelling characters, you want to have a young man, or, you know, what I recommend is create a news team and assign those roles. But you want to have a young man research the subject before you go anywhere as a group, or before you have someone come in to speak to your group. You know, research who he is, who she is, you know, where you're going, what that's about, and have your reporter write down the questions for the interview. You want to have your camera person shoot B-roll, which is basically another word for footage that goes with the report. So if you're going to visit somewhere, you want to have someone just shooting video of the kids walking around or the person speaking or things like that. If it's someone coming to speak, you want to use photos. So that's basically going to be used for the voiceover that's going to be used for that report. Then you conduct your interview, which I recommend no more 5 to 10 minutes, because within 5 minutes, you get a lot of content and you're not going to use all of it anyway. So after that, you write your script, which is basically the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, why, and you flesh it out with some details. And that is what you have to make up your report. So whoever your reporter is will go and voice that in a quiet space, and you'll use that as your primary voiceover to tell your story. So there are 3 types of news style storytelling. The first one is a reporter track voiceover, what we call a package in the industry. So basically what that means is you have pictures and videos, music or whatever, and the reporter is telling his voice. Is what you see in the normal news as you watch in regular news channels. The second one is a reporter interview, which is basically, there's no voiceover. So it's just a young man, Kappa League, interviewing whoever your subject matter is, and it's straight interview. So that can be music or not, but it's not a voiceover situation. And then you have what we call nat sound package, which is basically no reporter, voiceover, no track. It's just the person speaking about his experience, and you just basically cut those sound bites together to make him tell his own narrative. So those are the 3 ways to do a piece. The easiest one, to be honest with you, is probably this third one, this Nat sound piece, because you don't even have to have anyone voicing over. You don't have to have anyone asking. Well, they ask the questions, but when you cut it, you just literally look for the best sound bites they have, put it together, cover it with whatever they're talking about, and it's done. So that's one way of doing it. I can show you each of these. Hopefully my audio is on at this point. Let's find out. Let me see. Let's see what Brother Jackson told me to do. Tell me again, Brother Jackson.
All right, so when you hit share, whatever you're going to share, just make sure that at the bottom of the screen, there's a button that says share computer sound.
Okay, so it should be on this PowerPoint?
Well, if that's where the video is, but it doesn't matter if you're going to share something.
Okay, I think I see it right here.
Computer sound is share.
Got it. All right, brothers, if you can't hear this, just let me know. But this is the first one. We did a Thanksgiving initiative, and this is a version of a reporter track piece.
Kappa Leaguers and Kappa Brothers from Alpharetta, Smyrna braved inclement weather on Saturday, November 23rd, to participate with Atlanta Dream Center's Adopt a Block initiative.
The Atlanta Dream Center is an inner city Christian-based ministry, and they actually go out into the various communities within Atlanta, and we connected with the Guide Right young men and the brothers of Alpharetta, Smyrna, and we put together over 38 Thanksgiving baskets, and each basket included a $20 Kroger gift card.
Adopt a Block. Hello. The Kappa Leaguers went door to door in the Park Vista community of Atlanta and distributed several food baskets to residents in need. They also offered a prayer for each family.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
All right, everyone, bow your heads and close your eyes. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for
the power of young folks actually leading it. The prayers were led by young men like yourself. The baskets were carried by young men like yourself in the rain. And you guys truly had a passion and a desire. I'm sure the community felt it, and I'm sure they're very appreciative of it.
Amen. Amen. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Happy Thanksgiving.
It was also fulfilling for each of the young men.
I felt good to help other people because it can make, although it's a small difference, it's a small difference.
They understand that they get it, the importance of giving back, and just so proud of each and every one of them.
This is the second time the ASA Kappa Leaguers participated in this program, and many of them are looking forward to coming back next time. Reporting for Kappa League TV, I'm Luke Williams.
So what we did with this piece, he actually interviewed the Civic Action Chairman to talk about where we were going and what we were doing. I'll show you the second one. This is the one that Brother Jones was talking about, the young man who went to Carnegie Hall.
Thank you for joining us. What was the experience like being featured on Good Day Atlanta and Sister Circle Live?
It was amazing, honestly. It felt like I was really important on TV, and there was a lot of work that was going on with the cuts and edits, but it felt like I was actually, I guess, what the famous people would feel like if they have interviews and they would answer and stuff like that. Like I would someday be someone famous, like a celebrity or something.
You traveled to New York City to play at the acclaimed Carnegie Hall. What was that like?
Playing at Carnegie Hall, honestly, the second time was a lot more different than the first time. I was with this string orchestra, and playing with them, when we had like a huge ending, it would of course like echo around the hall, and the whole hall was like, whenever you would play, or at least when I would play, our music was always like flailing around because the window is in there, and that's just because it's so huge. And the way that it was structured, if a symphony played, the sound would be like a womp, but if it was a orchestra, the sound itself would be like around the room. It was an amazing experience playing at Carnegie.
Assuming that things are back to normal soon, what do you have planned next?
Next, I actually auditioned for a summer program called Youth Orchestra of Los Angeles, and I was accepted. Unfortunately, we're not planning to meet this summer, but possibly later on. And also, there is even some internships that I'm working for to get money over the summer. And I'm learning to audition for other orchestras. I'm learning pieces and excerpts for them. And I've auditioned for the MYSO, Metropolitan Youth Symphony Orchestra, and I was just accepted 2 days ago. And I'm in their symphony as well, so.
Thanks, Khalil. Reporting for Kappa League TV, I'm Luke Williams.
So we try to keep these within 2 to 3 minutes, because that's like when people start to lose interest. And as you can see from that one, we had to do the social distance. They look like they're sitting close to each other, but they're at least 6 feet apart, and it's outside. So I'll just do the last one to show you what it looks like to do an interview where it's no reporter talking, it's just a person speaking from their experience.
It was a scholarship PSA essay for texting and driving for Teen Drive 365. It's a story about my friend and how he's always on his phone and not really focused on the life around him until it was in his face when he was driving. Because we're always on our phone and involved in our phone, so the one time we can't be involved on our phone is when we're behind the wheel, and you got to really take that seriously, and that's what the PSA was about. It was really relatable because we are all involved in our phones, especially now when we're stuck in the home and stuck in the house, so we're always on it, so it's kind of this sort of addiction. So that's why it was kind of, it felt like it was over-exaggerated, but that's really how we are.
Hey! Yo, put the phone down.
Hey is usually the generic text message that everyone sends to kind of break the ice. So using something that we all use and then adding a twist to it, that's where I kind of brought people in.
Dad, your cupcakes are always so good. What'd you put in?
The Spark with film started in 5th grade. I had an iPad class and they taught us how to edit, and I loved the feeling, so I kept it going. My dad invested in some cameras, and then I picked it up in 7th grade, and then I started getting serious in 8th, so I really wanted to make it into a career. So that's when I started taking pictures for my friends, doing videos for them throughout high school, learning how to edit with a little bit more advanced softwares, industry standard, started getting on sets and things like that. So this is really a big passion of mine. So I want to take it to the next level, which is the collegiate level. So when I major in cinematography at Georgia State University in the fall, I will bring my passion to a bigger light and a bigger life. I was actually playing basketball with my friends, and then I got a call from an unknown number. And then I answered it, and she told me that I won the grand prize of $15,000, which was a blessing. It gives me a reassurance that I'm doing the right thing here, and I need to never settle and always stay hungry so I can get the next opportunity, the next gig, and just really show my talent and make a name for myself. My ultimate goal is to be the next Palmer Williams.
So basically, this young man won $15,000 for a PSA he put together, which was a scholarship. And it was kind of easy because he's the brother of the young man that was a field reporter on the other thing. So it's the same spot. But you want to find a compelling kid that's doing something really positive, since we can't go out like the first one you saw for Thanksgiving. We can't do that group thing. So now it's time to look at some of the young men in your chapter to see who has a compelling story. So basically, in here, but you may have seen, we created a new set. So this is where it gets interesting, because it takes it from one level to another level. Now, there is some degrees of, I guess, expertise in this, but brothers that are in media and some of the young men, they can do this as well. And it's not like an ancient Chinese secret or anything. So basically, what we did was, I do photography on the side. We have a studio in my house. So we shot the young man, which is Niles Holt, who happens to be my nephew. He's arm's reach, grabbed him, had him come over. This is pre-COVID. And we have a green screen for the table and a green screen behind him. And that's my daughter holding up it's an iPad, but it's basically a teleprompter app. So if you hold the teleprompter right up under the camera, it looks like he's looking at the camera when he's actually reading from the teleprompter. That's a trick right there for you. Brother Jones knows about that. So basically, brothers, the trick with green screen, the key is lighting. You have to light it correctly. Otherwise, it's gonna look like crap. Like the screens that are behind us, you see how you move, you see all that blue screen goes away. So what I have in the background is 2 lights, one on each side, lighting the green background by itself. I have a key light in the front, which is on top, facing down, and a fill light that's just off to the side. That's basically lighting the whole thing. So, and I'm shooting it on a DSLR. So basically, when you light it like that, all you want to do is fill the frame full of video. So you don't need to, when you frame it, you don't want to have all of the green. You want to close up on that person as much as you can, so that when you key out that green, it's only like the edges around him. So basically, it went from this green screen on the table to this look on the set. And this is where it gets tricky. You can buy a set. You can grab one from the internet. I found one that I liked, and I customized it for the colors and look that I wanted, you know, and, you know, made it look like Kappa League TV, in my opinion. So this is what we've been going with. We shoot on the green. We go to the edit software, the complex one that I told you about. We key out the green, and we place them in the spot in front of the desk and just make it sized properly so it looks like he's actually sitting in the studio. So I would stop to take questions, brothers, but this is generally how it's done. Like I said, this is the first part of doing the story, going out. That's fine. You can do that. This probably takes a little bit of expertise, because you kind of have to know how to edit, how to put it all together. So there's a lot of young men out there who know how to do this kind of stuff. So I would say lean on some of them, the ones who can edit, and see if you can come up with something like this. Don't use our set, get your own. Pick one that's synonymous to your chapter, so you can have that look and feel for each time you do a piece. You'll know it's your chapter based on the look of it. So I will go ahead and take questions now, brothers. I'll leave this screen up in case you want me to refer back to anything.
I have a question, Noop. Where can the Noops go to find the background that they're going to use to fill for their green screen?
Some of them are for sale. You can find some of them on YouTube. So what I did was, I think I got one off of YouTube or somewhere I found it on the internet, and I made a freeze frame of it. So once you make, because some of them have watermarks, you know, they want you to pay for it, obviously. And some of them are like $50, some of them go a little bit higher, $100. It just depends on what you're looking for. But you know, like I have a subscription to Adobe Photo Stock, and a lot of these subscription royalty-free websites, they'll have stuff like this. So if you subscribe, you can download it and you have it. But I wanted something that literally looked like he could be in the studio, not something too extravagant. I've seen some of the ones used, they have the globe and this and that. We're not really telling international global news. So I wanted something really simple, but looks like professional and real studio oriented. So you can do a search for new studio background. And once you find it, you know, try to get the colors you want, the look you want, and then, you know, you basically customize it. Like I added the Kappa League shield on there. You know, I made sure the desk had the right color. I added that. So that was some of that's Photoshop. But if you see this play, you'll see the screens in the back of him, the control room, those screens are moving. Those screens are moving. So not right now, but when you play it. So basically that means I had to do a cutout just of that image behind him to get a moving screen and put that behind him. So like I said, it's a little bit intricate. I've been editing, I was an editor for CNN, so you kind of have to know a little bit about it, but it can be done, trial and error. I'm willing to help anybody that wants to go that route.